Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our New York Islanders franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, we had the first round against the Detroit Red Wings, and it was actually quite an easy series for our team, I would say, for the most part. And we have found ourselves into the second round for the first time in the series, which is nice. But you could see it was a pretty convincing series win, I would say. Obviously, it did go all the way to 5 games, but I think we definitely dominated them for the most part. Mainly because we got really good goaltending from Sorokin, great defensive play. We also did get our offense quite consistently too, so I am very impressed with the effort from this team so far. But you can see we won game 1 4-1. Then we lost 3-2, so at that point I wasn't too sure what to make of our team. But then we won 3-2 in overtime, and afterwards our team didn't look back as we won 7-2 to take a 3-1 series lead, and then we won 3-1 in game number 5. So basically every single game that we played, we only allowed less than 3 goals a game, which is pretty damn impressive. So very impressed, like I said, with the goaltending, the defensive play. And then if we also look at our player stats from that first round, it was also a pretty good offensive first round, considering we had that 7-goal game. You can see we had a bunch of guys, if we go to our forward group, that are around point per game. Some of them are a little bit lower than point per game, but still everybody on the offensive side of things picked up points except for William Dufour, so pretty good balanced offensive scoring. And in our defensive play, everybody had a point except for Scott Mayfield. So basically everybody on our team was picking up points or playing good defensively. And then we also had great goaltending numbers from Sorokin. So hopefully that continues into the second round, where we're going to be taking on a much tougher opponent, I would say, in the Washington Capitals. They technically had a worse record than us during the regular season, but I would definitely still say they have a really good roster. Better than I anticipated, because I wasn't expecting to be that great, but they have drafted really well in the first few years, because they did draft a franchise guy in DeAndre Harris, who is a sniper to replace Alex Ovechkin at some point. You can see like they still have Strome, Mangiapane, Alex Ovechkin's still there at 41 years old, still going for another Stanley Cup. PLD's there, Tom Wilson. Like, they have very good depth on their offensive side of things, and that's going to make them definitely a scary threat going forward. Now, their defensive core is also pretty strong. Chikrin, Carlson, Sandin, Perbix, and Fleury McDonough, like, they definitely have the depth in their lineup that Detroit really didn't, I would say. Their goaltending isn't the strongest combination, so we do have them, I'd say, beat in terms of goaltending, but they definitely have a very good forward core and defensive core. So this series could go either way. I think it could definitely go to 7 games, my guess, but I don't really know if either team is going to have an easy time in the next round, because next round, regardless of whoever wins this series, they're going to have to take on either the Florida Panthers or the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both those two teams were top 3 teams in the league during the regular season, so I think regardless of who comes out of this series is basically going to be the underdog in the conference finals. Like, I definitely think the favorite is either Toronto or Florida for the Stanley Cup this season, because if you look at the West, it's Utah and Winnipeg, Dallas and San Jose, which I feel like none of those teams are probably super well built up. Maybe Dallas is. Utah could be built up if you're getting good development from like guys like Cooley and Gunther and all that. But I wouldn't say Utah's probably that insane. San Jose definitely should be super good at this stage early on here, and Winnipeg might be good still, depending if they lost any pieces early on into this franchise mode or not. But I definitely think Toronto and Florida are the favorites. Obviously, one of them has to go out in round number 2, so whoever wins that series, I would think, is going to win the Stanley Cup if for some reason our team isn't able to do it. Because our team was actually really good in the regular season, so there is a chance that we could be a favorite. But at the same time, I don't really know what to make of this team yet, because we had a great first round, but obviously last year our playoff success wasn't too good. So should be interesting to definitely see if we could get ourselves to that conference finals. Now, there was some comments in last episode. I'm not going to go over them, but it's funny because basically the comments that we got from Michael and from Dylan, both of them actually thought it was my birthday, and my birthday I was referring to in-game. So it's funny that you guys thought it was actually my birthday around this point in time, but in real life, my birthday isn't until April 25th. I was more referring to when Game 5 was against the Red Wings. That would have been my birthday, and I would have been turning, I guess technically at that point, I would have been turning 31. So, yeah, April 25th is my birthday. Just a little heads up on that. If you guys want to remember that, you can. It's usually always during the playoffs. It's not late into the year, which is kind of nice in a sense, because I feel like it's kind of nice to have a birthday when it's like warmer months almost in a way, and you could actually go outside. Like, then again, April usually a lot of rain and stuff like that, but April is definitely a lot better, I feel like, than having snow on your birthday and all that type of thing, and being that close to Christmas too, technically. So, but anyways, that is that. I think we're ready to get into this matchup. As you can see, based on the playoff record so far, both of us have been pretty good offensively throughout the first round. Both of us have been good defensive teams. Both of us have also been pretty solid on power play and penalty kills. So this should be a pretty even matchup for the most part, unless our team starts to fall back into its way where it's not scoring a lot, and then we have to rely heavily on Sorokin, because if we're not scoring goals, Sorokin can't necessarily stop every single puck thrown at him. He's going to be great, but I don't think we're going to win games 1-0, 2-0 all the time, right? So we definitely need to still have that good offensive push that we did in the first round if we want to get to that next round. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into this and see what this team could do. Hopefully they could keep on cooking. The Capitals went to 6 games in the first round. I don't remember who they faced in the first round. Maybe it was the Rangers. Maybe it was the Rangers. Let me take a look and see who they faced in the first round, because I honestly don't remember. Let's see. So it was the Rangers. What am I saying? That was the Capitals. Damn. But yeah, they took out the Rangers in 6 games, so they definitely just took out a pretty good threat. Now they're looking at to knock out another New York-based team. But if we go to the April calendar, we should be able to take a look at the box scores from their first round matchup, because I am kind of curious on how good their offensive games were in the playoffs. Can I change it just to playoff stuff? No, I can't. Sorry, I had to make a cut because my allergies all of a sudden just completely obliterated me. Oh my goodness. Okay, there now it shows playoffs right here. So when they played the New York Rangers, they won the first game 3-2 in overtime. Actually, the Rangers won game 1. So the Capitals were trailing at one point, which is interesting. Then game number 2, they won 7-3. So they had a big offensive game just like us at one point. So that's kind of an interesting note. Afterwards, they won 5-1. So 2 great offensive games in a row for the Caps. Then their next game, they won 4-3, and it was in regulation. So they took a 3-1 series lead after they fell down 1-0. They then lost the next game 4-0, getting shut out by Shesterkin likely. Actually, no, Shesterkin's not there. He's in San Jose now. So maybe actually San Jose is good. But anyways, yeah, the Rangers shut them out. But then the Capitals answered back with a nice 1-0 overtime shutout win with Pierre-Luc Dubois scoring that goal. So that's basically how they got onto this round. So a little bit of offensive inconsistencies, it looks like, for them in the last 2 games, but they had a big offensive game just like us. So it's very similar teams based on that. But obviously it could completely be different in the second round. But anyways, let's get into this matchup. Also, just a little heads up, I do have the newest update installed, which has the real coaches. Now, you will not get your real coaches in franchise mode unless you use the most recent roster updates. So, unfortunately for this series, we won't have Patrick Roy as a head coach like you would if you were to start up an Islanders franchise with the newest rosters. So, I kind of hope that we could get to a new franchise mode in the next couple of months, so that way we could actually see the real coaches out there, because it'll be kind of cool. But anyways, let's see what happens here. Game number 1 on home ice, first period. 2-0 Caps. That's not great. That's pretty bad, actually, of a start for Sorokin. We are out shooting him 17-9. Like I said, we need our offense to be consistent, because Sorokin can't stop everything. We had 17 shots on goal, but we could not score a single goal in that first period, which is not great. Blais and St. Dean of all people. So 2 unlikely kind of goal scorers, so that's not a great sign when it's not like Ovechkin or DeAndre Harris scoring for them. So maybe we could respond in the second. But obviously being down 2-0 after 1 is not a great sign. So it would be nice if we could score at least 1 goal in the second to pull us back into this game. Second period. 2-1. Okay, that's good. We did get one back. Brock Nelson scores on the power play. We already have 30 shots through 2 periods, so we definitely are throwing a lot to the net, but Logan Thompson has been very good for them so far. We're within 1 goal. Can we find a way to tie this game up early in the third period after we're down 2-0 after the first period? Come on, boys. Let's see what happens. Can we get that next crucial goal? Yes, we can. Simon Holmstrom ties the game up at 2. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Can we get the lead now? Yes, we can. Power play goal again for Brock Nelson. Let's go. That's a major response from this team after we fell down 2-0 early on. Sorokin has been a brick since the first period, and he is going to stop everything else as William Dufour picks up his first goal and first point to the playoffs finally. So now everybody on our forward group has a point in the playoffs. We win 4-2 after we were down 2-0, and we outshot them 47-30. So that is a pretty nice first game. Good game again for Sorokin. He started off a little bit slow, allowing 2 goals on the first 9 shots, but the next 21 he faced, he didn't allow a single one. So that's the type of goaltending we need from him. So Brock Nelson from Bjorkstrand and Dobson. That was actually Nelson's first goal to playoff. No, actually, it's bugged, right? Yeah, it's definitely bugged because Nelson definitely had more goals, I think. I forgot that this thing is bugged where it shows the 1 goal, 2 goals, and stuff like that. It's based on the series score. So, actually, no, it's not. Oh, maybe it is. No, it's not because Holmstrom had 2 goals. Maybe Brock Nelson didn't score before this. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just had... Oh, yeah, I think he just had a bunch of assists. So I think this actually could be accurate. Holmstrom from Mayfield, Nelson from Barzal and Horvat, and Dufour from Parson and Dobson. Because, yeah, I think Nelson just had a bunch of assists in the first round and he didn't score a single goal. I was confused for a second. But Nelson the first star, Sorokin the second star, and Simon Holmstrom the third star. So, pretty good first game. Gonna definitely keep the lines the same after that. Just hopefully we get off to a better start than the last game, though, because that first period was kind of not great. We did outshoot them a lot, but we allowed 2 goals on 9 shots, so we definitely don't want to be in a hole too much. Like, we don't want to give up leads early and then have to come from behind too much, because that's not going to be an easy way to win games. But we're now 5-1 in the preseason, or not the preseason, the playoffs. What am I talking about, man? My allergies are literally messing with my head right now, and I don't know why. Also, why are my allergies bothering me when there's not really as much allergens flying around like there is during the spring? It's kind of weird. Anyways, let's get to game 2. See if we get 2-0 series lead headed to Washington, because that would be a great way to start off the second round here. First period, game number 2. Scoreless, I'll take it. We are out shooting them again 10-7, so a lot less shots for us in that first period, but both goalies steadying on their heads a little bit, which is good. No goals so far. I would prefer probably games like this in a way, because we are probably, I would say, a better defensively structured team than the Caps are, but maybe it's more because we have the good goaltender, but hopefully we can find a way to get that lead in the second period. Like I said, our offense needs to be consistent every single game if it can. Second period. 2-0 Ice. Let's go. Short-handed goal again from Anton Frundell. Wow. Frundel's been a great short-handed player. I feel like he's got multiple short-handed goals this playoff run, but he has been a great short-handed guy. And yeah, I'm very excited for the future with him, like maybe being a future captain of the Islanders. You never know if he's here for the long run, which he probably will be. Like, I feel like I want to kind of keep on to him for his entire career, maybe. Noah Dobson also gets a goal, though, which is nice. Those goals were like a minute or less than a minute apart. They were, I guess, a total of, I don't want to do the math, like 48 seconds apart, something like that. Anyway, shots 26-18 in favor of us. We're up by a pair of goals. Can we lock this down in the third period and take both of our home games? Let's see what happens. It would be nice to have a 2-0 series lead headed to Washington if we can. Just got to hold them off. Which is good. We have a good goaltender that could do that type of thing now. So I do feel a little bit safer having a 2-0 lead with Sorokin. But Mangiapane gets Washington on the board. But Romanov answers right back. And Frankie V scores 2. Makes it 4-1. Jacob Chikrin scores a shorthanded goal for them. Final few minutes. We get an empty netter from Frankie V as well. And we're going to win 5-2 in game 2. So another great game for Sorokin, allowing 2 goals on 33 shots. He's now allowing more than 2 goals a lot. Like, I think he's only had 1 game where he's allowed more than 2 goals. And that was that 3-2 loss that we had against Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. But that's a really good game. Really, really good game. We outshot them 38-33. We win 5-2. So good offense in that game from our team as well, which is nice. So Frundell's 4 from Nelson, Dobson's 2nd from Horvat and Holmstrom, Romanov from Cizikas and Holmstrom, Vetrano from Frundell and Pollock, nice, and Vetrano from Nelson and Dobson. Nice to see Frankie V scoring as well in the playoffs. Love to see it. So Dobson the first star, Frankie V second star, and Sorokin the third star of the game. Let's go. So we win both of our first 2 home games. We're now 6-1 in this playoffs, and we have been dominant defensively. Like I said, I think we have only allowed more than 2 goals 1 time. Yeah, it was literally only this game that we allowed more than 2 goals. So our team has very good defense, very good goaltending. And just like that, we're 2 wins away from a potential conference finals appearance. Now, we are headed into Washington, so we got to find ways to win on the road too. Our only loss was on home ice, so we haven't lost so far on the road. But the Washington Capitals are definitely going to come out flying in Game 3 because they definitely have had some kind of close efforts with us. Like that last game was kind of back and forth a little bit near the end, but we're outscoring them 9-4 after 2 games. Let's keep the team the same. Honestly, we might get through this series quite quickly, but let's see if we could take a 3-0 series lead and take the first game in Washington, because that would make us have a good chance of going to the next round. First period, game number 3. 1-1, I'll take it. Ovechkin opens the scoring. It's not great to see Ovi on the board because maybe once he gets going, he's going to get going. And then Matt Barzal ties the game up. Shots are pretty even, 9-8 in favor of the Caps. It's a 1-1 game. Can we find a way to get our first lead of the night? Second period. Still 1-1, I'll take it. It's another good defensive effort still from this team so far and good goaltending. Once again, shots are even, almost 19-17. It's a 1-1 game. It's definitely been a tight game, it seems like, by comparison to the first two. Let's see if we could get that lead in the third period, potentially. Come on, boys. Who wants to be that hero for us? Power play for us. Our power play has been good, but we do not score on it, unfortunately. We got another power play chance, and we do not score on it. That's not great, but at least it's some good chances and maybe some momentum. Final few minutes of this third period, still deadlocked at 1. This is a very close game. And we are going to be going to overtime in Game 3. We haven't been in no overtime since Game 3 of last round, I think, if I remember right. Shots are dead even. Goals are even. This is definitely anybody's game at this point. And once again, regardless, even if we lose this game, we would not allow more than 2 goals against. So kind of insane how good this team has been in terms of the defensive side of things. But can we get a goal in overtime? And who wants to be the hero? Who do I want to shout out to be the potential hero? I'm trying to think. Let's call in Frundell again, because Anton Frundell's been maybe one of my favorite players in this series so far. Let's see if he gets another goal here. Come on, boys. Let's find a way to win this one. Just who wants to be the hero? Penalty kill in overtime. We killed it off. Nicely done, penalty killers. Penalty kill again, and they win in overtime. Matt Zuccarello gives the Caps their first win of the series. The shots were even at the end of the game, but unfortunately we got into a bit of penalty trouble in Game 3 overtime, so that sucks kind of, but I mean it was a good game still defensively. Our offense definitely dried up a bit, which is not great, but still a close game. I don't know who took the penalty in overtime though. Cross-checking against Sam Bolduc. Yeah, we probably shouldn't have given them 2 power plays in overtime. That's a bit of a recipe for disaster, but still an okay game, I would say, but obviously kind of sucks to lose another one, considering we've been on a good little run. But both goaltenders played phenomenal in this game. Zuccarello gets 3rd star with the game winner. Yeah, we got to be a bit more disciplined in those overtime situations, if possible, just because we know Washington has the threats on the power play that they could score on it. So it is now a 2-1 series lead for us. We're going to keep the team the same because I still like the way we've been playing. I just feel like our offense needs to be better here in this next game, or else maybe we make some adjustments, but maybe it'll just find itself again. But both Western Conference matchups are up 3-0 right now. Dallas up 3-0 on San Jose, and Utah on Winnipeg. And both us and Toronto are up 2-1 in our respective series. Okay? Let's get to this next game. Keep it the same. Like I said, if we lose this one and don't score a lot, maybe I'll make some offensive adjustments. But let's see if we can respond after that overtime loss. First period, game number 4. 2-1 us. Okay, that's a good offensive start. Wenberg scores first for them, but Matt Barzal scores on the power play, and Brock Nelson scores again. He's got 3 goals against the Caps so far, so he's definitely been better goal-scoring-wise against them than he was against Detroit. Shots are 12-10 in favor of us. We're up by 1 goal. Can we just keep it good defensively in the second period and get maybe some insurance for the third period? Second period. Still 2-1. Okay. We're having some very tight games here, which is okay. It's good to have some tight games now and again. Obviously, blowing the team out of the water is fun too, but at the same time, sometimes you want to have these kind of close games to show that your team could actually play still good defensively. So I still really like our way our goaltending and defense has been. The offense has been a little bit quiet as of the last 2 games, but maybe we'll find ourselves in the third period here. Shots are 25-17 in favor of the Caps, so they have been outplaying us, but it has been Sorokin's goal that he has been just amazing so far in this playoff run. Like, maybe he's going to have a playoff for the ages if he keeps up like this. So let's see what happens in this third period, see if we can get some insurance markers here. Penalty kill to start the third. We kill it off. Good stuff. Got to be more disciplined, though, boys. Can we get some insurance? And who wants to be the one to deliver us some insurance? Or are we just going to lock it down the rest of the way here? Because that's the typical Islanders team. Final few minutes, and we get the empty net too. Bjorkstrand makes it 3-1, and that is your final. Another insane effort from Ilya Sorokin. I love when elite goalies actually play like elite goaltenders. 36 of 37. We got outshot 37-24, and we won 3-1. So, yeah, Sorokin is definitely that rock, and I am glad we are going to be holding on to him for at least a number of years before we go into our rebuild territory. But Barzal from Dobson and Nelson, Nelson from Dobson, and Bjorkstrand from Dobson and Barzal. So Dobson with 3 points in that game, Barzal with a couple as well, and same with Nelson. So our top six did its work, which is great. And of course, yep, Sorokin the first star with a .972 save percentage. Dobson gets second star, Nelson the third star of the game. Nice. Yeah, that was a good effort. Like, we still have not allowed more than 2 goals against in a game since that one game that we lost to Detroit. That's actually insane. Like, I'm curious on what Sorokin's numbers are looking like in the playoffs now at this point, but we are 1 win away from the conference finals. Toronto is as well, so there might be a chance that John Tavares is going to get to play against his old team if he's still in Toronto, which I think he is. So that will be an interesting matchup if that's the case. Maybe Florida comes back, you never know. But Dallas and Utah are also both up 3-1. So every series has a chance to end in the next 2 days, which is interesting. So let's keep the team the same and see if we could lock the series down. We're back on home ice again. Can we close out the Capitals and get ourselves to the conference finals in 2027? Come on, boys. Let's keep on playing great defense and get some more offense, maybe going a little bit. First period, game number 5. 2-0 Caps. Yikes. So that comes back to the game that we were down 2-0 after 1 in game 1. Yeah, so basically it's the same type of thing for now. 2 goals on 8 shots. That's definitely Sorokin's worst start to a game. Obviously, game 1, he allowed 2 goals on 9 shots. But then he kind of settled in the rest of the game. So I'm hoping that that's what he could do for the rest of this game. And maybe if our team's able to get more shots on goal, we could score more goals. But that's still a pretty bad start for our team. Chychrun and Strome with both those goals. Can we answer back in the second period? We don't need 2 goals in the next period. We could get 1 and then try and tie it up in the third. But regardless, let's get back into this second period. Still 2-0. Oh no. Looks like Logan Thompson's having a good game. Shots are 22-18 in favor of us, but we're down by a pair of goals going into the third. This is the first time I think we're trailing going into the third, if I'm not mistaken. But can we find a way to tie this game up in the third period? We need our offense to get going. We are outplaying them, but it's been a good goaltending matchup for Logan Thompson right now. Sorokin has settled into the game, which is good, but we do need our offense to show up here, or else we're going back to a game 6 in Washington. Let's see what happens in this third period. Hey, we got a short and a goal immediately from Bo Horvat. That's a big statement from Bo. Nice goal to get us back within 1. Can we find a way to tie us up? DeAndre Harris scores, makes it 3-1. This is only the second time we've allowed more than 2 goals against in a game, as Brock Nelson pulls us within 1 on a power play goal. Can we find a way to tie this one up? No, we are not. Ovechkin scores. This is the first time we've allowed more than 3 goals. Dobson pulls us within 1 again, and that will be the final. Damn it. Ovechkin's late goal ends up being the game winner. So that's definitely Sorokin's worst effort we've seen so far. But not going to put him fully on him, but definitely that's a bad game for him. But that's okay. He was going to have one of those eventually, right? Final shots were 35-26, so we outplayed them, but we lose by 1 goal on a late one from Ovi. Of course, Ovi and Harris had to come through in the same game because both those guys are going to be great goal scorers. Well, Ovechkin obviously already is, but Harris is going to be that next guy. That was his first goal of the playoffs, and his first career playoff goal probably too. So that's kind of interesting. Horvat from Cizikas and Dobson, Nelson from Bjorkstrand and Horvat, and Dobson from Horvat and Sorokin. So Ilya Sorokin continues to pick up playoff assists as a goalie, which is weird. Horvat got first star, Dobson got second star in that one, so we technically should have probably won that game, but we didn't. So that's a little bit scary. If we look at the plus minuses, though, Ryan Pulock was abysmal, -3. You also had Duclair, Holmstrom, and Pelech, who were -2. But Pulock being a -3 is not what I wanted to see. And then, yeah, Sorokin definitely had his worst game of his playoff career so far at this point, I feel like. At least in this universe, I should say. Not in real life, because I don't know how good he's been in real life in terms of playoff goaltending, but that's one of those losses that you definitely wish you would win. It's definitely been a very close series in most of these games, except for the first 2 games, I would say, but the last few games have definitely been a little bit more airtight. All right, do I keep the team the same? Probably. If we lose this next one, maybe Game 7, I make some adjustments, but I definitely think our team should be able to find a way to close this out, but definitely one team I think that was down 3-1 is going to come back. And it could be the Florida Panthers against Toronto. It could be the Winnipeg Jets against Utah. Dallas has already clinched a Western Conference appearance. So Dallas will have a chance to go to the Cup Finals this year in 2027. All right. So we're going to keep the team the same. We're now in Washington looking to close them out. So this is going to be kind of tough to close them out in their own building. But it's what we got to do if we want to find ourselves in that conference finals. Come on, boys. I believe in you. First period of game number 6 as we already allowed a goal in the first shot. And we're down 2-1 after 1. They did score the first 2 goals in the first few minutes again. So Sorokin's kind of having a little bit of slow starts in this series, it seems like. But then he finds itself like he's allowed 2 goals against in the first period 3 times now, which is not great. PLD scored first, and then Jacob Chikrin. Frundell gets us a power play goal. So Frundell's been doing it all. Power play goals, shorthand goals, regular strength. Really liking the way he's playing so far at this point. But shots are 10-8 in favor of us. We're down by a goal. We need a better outcome in terms of defense and goaltending in this next period because we're starting to lose our identity defensively a bit. Second period. Still 2-1. Like I said in the beginning of the series, our offense needs to be consistent, and it's kind of falling off that consistency a bit. And we're all of a sudden just like not finding ways to score goals, which is not great. Our goaltending has also been a little bit of a struggle, like I said in the first period. So it at least is kind of keeping us in these games. Like this one right now is still close, but it is a little bit scary. A little bit. Let's see if we can find a way to tie this up in a third, or else we're going to a game 7 where anything could happen, and that's a little bit scary considering we were up 3-1. Can we tie this game up? Come on, boys. Yes, we can. Oliver Bjorkstrand beats Logan Thompson, but Ovechkin answers back. Ovi's awake and firing on all cylinders as of late. That's not great. Can we find a way to tie it up again? Come on, guys. Ovechkin's got like 3 goals in the series against us. Can we tie this one up? We have time. Come on, please. Nope. We lose another one by 1 goal. And we are going to a game 7 back on home ice. That's not good. Oh boy, I feel like we're definitely against the wall here a little bit. Frundell from Duclair and Pollock, Bjorkstrand from Mayfield and Barzell. I did say at the beginning of the series, though, that we were going to be probably going to a Game 7 type of situation, and so far, seeming like that's going to obviously be the case because we are going to a Game 7, but it has definitely been a close series as anticipated. A lot of these games were decided by only a goal. Like, these last 4 games we played, this one we lost in overtime. This one was like literally one we just barely got back and won that. This one was one we barely lost. Same with this one. Like, I feel like we're definitely not going to win this game. But you never know. You never know. We did have the first 2 games that were good. So we're going to a game 7. And it looked like Florida and Toronto as well is going to a game 7, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they are. So both going to game 7. And the Western Conference Finals will be Dallas and Utah. So that has already been confirmed. Interesting, okay? Well, let's go ahead and adjust our lines here because we definitely need to maybe make some adjustments to try and get our scoring back here. I think I'm going to swap Frundell and Bjorkstrand because Frundell's got the 5 goals. Bjorkstrand's got 3. Let's just swap the 2 of them around. Frankie V could... How much points do you have? 6 points. I feel like Duclair's been really unevident. Yep, he's been terrible. Duclair's really showing us that he should be dealt in the offseason. 2 points in 11 games. Yikes. That's not great. I might honestly demote Duclair to the 4th line here. Move up Juuso Parson. And actually, Parson hasn't been much better, but he has way less ice time. So, yeah, we're going to demote Duclair to the 4th line for a game. He just hasn't been it. And then in terms of defense, let's take a look at the plus minuses here. Pollock's the only one that's minus, so it's been okay still. I think I'll keep our defensive structure the same, but obviously not too impressed with the way Duclair's been. I could take him out of the lineup and put in like Wallstrom instead. But Wallstrom's a right-handed shot and a right winger. Doesn't shoot left wing. Footy could play the left wing. He is more of a defensively minded option for that fourth line. You know what? I think I'm going to actually scratch Duclair for a game. Just get him a little bit, not necessarily angry, but I think I'm going to scratch him because I have not been happy with his performance so far. So Liam Foodie's going to come in and play a playoff game. And Duclair might come back. Obviously, if we go to the next round, he'll probably play again on that third line. But right now, he needs to kind of think about how he's played. And obviously, if we go to the next round, maybe he'll find himself again. But Liam Foodie will come in just because he's the better defensive option, technically, because he's a two-way rather than a sniper. Because having a sniper on the fourth line, to me, is not really a good idea. So I think that's all the adjustments I'm going to make going into Game 7. Just Bjorkstrand and Frundell swapping places, Parsonen up to the third line, and then Liam Foodie coming in to help us out with the defensive structure down there in the bottom six. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I just don't know what's with Duclair. Like, only a 1 goal in 11 games as a sniper is definitely not that great. I have seen him in franchise mode pick up like 50 goals because of my draft to glory, but for some reason in this series, he just hasn't really developed that type of goal scoring ability, which kind of sucks. So, anyways, Game 7, I didn't think we were going to go to a Game 7 when we were up 3-1, but here we are. Obviously, Toronto and Florida are also going to Game 7, so one of these teams is definitely going to fall off and lose 3 straight games. I feel like it could be us. It could be the Toronto Maple Leafs, which would be pretty meany. But let's get to Game 7. Real-time simulation. Can we find ourselves to the conference finals, or are we going to fall apart at the worst time possible? Come on, guys. Let's get a good game from Sorokin and all that. Short-handed goal from Bjorkstrand. We're scoring a lot of short-handed goals against the Caps. I feel like we've scored 3 at least. Tom Wilson scores to tie the game up. Not great. But yeah, I think we've scored 3 short-handed goals because Frundell scored 1 before as well. Ovechkin gives the Caps the lead. Ovechkin's on a different planet right now. That's not good for us. Sorokin's starting to fall off a bit too. So that's the 4th game where we've allowed 2 goals in the first period. So we get off to a little bit of slow starts, which is not great. We need to find ourselves in this next period or else this is not going to look good. Shots are 12-10 in favor of the Caps. 2-1 game for them. Can we tie this game up in the second period? Let's see what we could do here. Come on, guys. Who wants to be the hero? Nice. Brock Nelson ties it up at 2. Brock's been great against the Caps so far. He's been probably the best player in the series for us in consistency, I would say. He's got like 4 or 5 goals at least. So really liking the way Brock's been. Hopefully this isn't the last year of his career because there's a lot of guys that could potentially retire this season. So the 2-2 game going into the third, shots are 26-21 in favor of us. Both these teams 20 minutes away from potentially going to the conference finals or to an overtime situation. Who wants to be the hero for us in this third period? Trying to think of who would maybe come through here. I don't know who's the most clutch player on our team, to be honest. Who would I say is most clutch? I don't even know. Maybe Matt Barzell. I don't know. But let's see what happens in this third period. This might be our last 20 minutes of the season, or it might get extended. We don't know. Let's see what happens. Who wants to grab that lead for us? Noah Dobson. Let's go. Big contract extension, and he gives us the lead in this third period. We need some insurance just to play it safe, because we know the Caps have offense in bunches. And we know that they could score goals. Penalty kill. Whoever took that penalty, please don't do that at this time of a game. Final few minutes. And we barely escaped the Caps. We're going to the conference finals. Holy crap. Whew, another 1-goal game too. So that was huge. We outshot them 40-28. Noah Dobson credited with the game-winning goal. And after 7 games, we will be facing either Toronto or Florida for a chance in the Cup finals. Man, that was tight. We knew we were going to run into a series like that, though, because our first round was pretty easy. We know that eventually you have series where you go to like 6-7 games. It's not going to be all 5-game series, but that's a good effort from the team. Bjorkstrand from Cizikas and Dobson, Nelson from Dobson and Vetrano, and Dobson from Bjorkstrand. So Dobson with another 3-point game. So Noah Dobson actually was really good in this series as well. He gets first star, Bjorkstrand second star, and Sorokin the third star. Let's take a look at our player stats, and then we'll take a look at whoever we're facing, which is likely going to be... Oh, it's going to be Toronto. Oh, boy. So we're going to literally be going up against probably John Tavares. So Tavares might have to make his return against the Islanders, which is interesting. I feel like he should be still in Toronto, unless he signed somewhere else. I don't remember. Don't think he did. But yeah, we're going to be taking on John Tavares. We're going to be taking on Austin Matthews, all those guys. Hopefully they still have a weak defensive core like they do in real life, in my opinion. So our player stats. Wow, okay. I was not expecting that. Okay. Starting off, though, with our centers. Brock Nelson's now leading the team in points on centers. 14 points in 12 games. He's been great. 5 goals in the series because he only had like the assist before that. So very important player against the Caps. Barzal on 12 points. Horvat on 12 points. Zekas on 4 points. No goals so far. Parson on 3 points. -3. Not great. Gustafsson 1 goal, -3. So these two guys are a little bit quiet. I would say Gustafsson's definitely the most quiet, but he is a fourth line center after all. Footy was pretty good in his first game. Had 2 shots, even 0. He will probably come back out of the lineup and we'll get Duclair back in. Hopefully we can get Duclair to start scoring again because that would help out a lot. Frondell on 8 points in 12 games. Not bad. He does have a power play goal, a shorthand goal as well. And then Anthony Duclair has been pretty bad. 1 goal in 11 games and 2 points. Only 20 shots on goal and he's shooting 5%. So you think if I put him back in the lineup, he'd start scoring again. He's got to, right? I definitely am going to put him back in the lineup, I think. But he needs to be a lot better. Bjorkstrand on 11 points. Vetrano on 7. Holmstrom on 6. Dufour on 1 goal. He is also a -3. But that's the fourth line only. Not bad. From a defensive standpoint, though, this is what I was mentioning. Noah Dobson is coming alive. 16 points in 12 games and a +12. He's definitely showing he's worth that extension we gave him. He has 58 points during this regular season, and so far in the playoffs, he's over point per game. Meanwhile, last year, he was point per game, so he's starting to be a really good player. Pollock on the 4 assists. He's been a little bit bad, -2. Romanov's been great defensively. He's also got 3 goals. Pellick on 2 points. Mayfield on 2 points. Bolduc on only the 1. Not bad. And then the goaltending numbers. Sorokin has dropped off from a 939 to a 931, mainly because of those losses we suffered, but he has still been really good in this postseason for us for the most part. 2 assists as well for him in the playoffs again. I don't know what's with him in picking up points in the playoffs, but he does it. All right. So there is our player stats for the playoffs. Now we got to advance today so we can see what Toronto looks like. Because obviously Toronto's going to be a tough team. Yeah, 60 wins a season for the Leafs. Yikes. 60, 20, and 2. Yikes. Yeah, that's going to be a really, really tough matchup. They had literally they had 11 more wins than us. It's insane. I don't know how they were that great, but apparently during the playoffs so far, they're the best offensive team. We're the second best offensive team in the playoffs. They are the 9th best defensive team in the playoffs. We're the 3rd best. So they do allow a lot of goals. So that might help us out a bit. They are the 1st best power play. We are the 2nd best power play in the playoffs. And they are the 9th best penalty kill. We're the 4th best. So we're a better defensive team. They're a better offensive team, which makes a lot of sense. Because I would assume that would be the case in real life as well. Let's take a look at what these Leafs look like here. Let's see what they got. So, in terms of their forward group, oh my goodness. Whew, yikes. Yeah, I knew they were going to have this good of an offense, but still, it's a shocker. Matthew Knies up to an 89 overall. Damn, he's really good. He so far has 8 points through 11 games. You have Austin Matthews, of course, 97 overall. And he's got 9 goals in 11 games and 14 points. Mitch Marner, he has 14 points as well, 3 goals only, which makes sense because he sucks in the playoffs in terms of goal scoring. But 14 points in 11 games. William Nylander on 13 points in 11 games on that second line is a 93 overall. Insane. John Tavares there as an 88, of course, former captain of the Islanders, 14 points in 11 games. I know Islanders fans would absolutely boo the crap out of this guy when he would return if there was a playoff matchup between the two of them. Like, it'd be insane. Now, Calle Jarnkrok as a second liner is a little bit of a weakness. He does have 8 points in 11 games, though, because he's playing with great players. But Jarnkrok, to me, is more of a third line kind of guy, not a second liner. Max Domi's on this third line as well. He's got 3 points and a -6. So this third line might be an issue for them based on that. Oh, yeah, it definitely is. David Camp has 3 points, only -7. And then Pontus Holmberg is -5 with 4 points. So their top 6 probably is most of their offense based on that, and also a lot better defensively. But this unit is really rough for them. And in their fourth line, Nick Robertson has been phenomenal. What the hell? 7 goals as a fourth line guy. Must be scoring a lot on the power play too. He's got a total of 12 points in 11 games with 7 goals. And 3 of them have been actually not as the regular season. What about playoffs? One of them have only been on the power play, but still. He's doing really well for a fourth line guy. And then Tyson Jost, 7 assists in 11 games. He's also been great. Wow. Klim Kostin, 4 points. So these 4 guys, so Domi, Kampf, Holmberg, and Kostin, we don't have to worry about too much offensively, but Jost, Robertson, and in this top 6, absolutely filthy. Defensively, Riley and Liljegren, I should say, who's now in San Jose in real life. How's Riley been? 6 points. And in Liljegren on 4. All right. Second parent, Henry Jokiharju and Jake McCabe. 3 points and 2 points. And Chris Tanev in OEL. 4 points and 1 point. And Tanev still has 4 years left on his NMC. That's so hilarious. Yeah, that defensive core is decent. It's a decent defensive core, but they do not get as much offense from the back end as probably we do with Dobson, but still it's good. Goaltending, they have Joseph Woll, who has a .914 through 11 games right now. And then they have Matt Murray as their backup. Has he even played any playoff games so far? No, he has not. Last year he played in their AHL playoffs, but he has not played in the NHL playoffs this season so far. So goaltending is somewhat solid. And depth, they have Nico Mikkola and Zach Whitecloud. Oh yeah, they were the ones that traded for Whitecloud. Looks like he's losing morale because of ice time or something like that. But I know you guys wanted me to trade for Whitecloud at one point. But he's a depth defenseman for them. Yeah, it's a good team. Very good offense. Defense is pretty average. Goaltending is pretty average. But that offensive core is going to be a bitch to contain, especially that top 6. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our New York Islanders franchise mode. So in next episode, we're going to take it to the conference finals against the Toronto Maple Leafs as we look to go to the Cup finals either against Dallas or Utah. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.